The science of remembering. Summary: to remember is not simply to recall events, but to retrace the origin of being itself. In ancient wisdom, anamnesis was not a medical term, but a sacred act. The movement through which consciousness ascends the current of time to rediscover the source of its light. Derived from the Greek ana, back upward, and amnesis, memory, the word literally means to bring back to mind what has been forgotten. For Plato, anamnesis was the recollection of the ideas, the hyperuranic order from which the soul descends. To remember, then, was to unveil truth, not to accumulate data, to remove the veils that conceal essence. In this vision, anamnesis is ontological, not psychological. It is being that remembers itself through the human mind. Every authentic intuition is not the creation of new knowledge, but the return of what was already known, a micro-anamnesis in which the universal memory emerges through the individual. When a truth appears, the universe through us recalls its own structure. Ah, yes. I already knew this. Modernity, however, has reduced anamnesis to a medical inventory, a catalogue of the body's past. It asks what we have had, not what we have been, confuses chronology with genealogy, forgetting that the true medicine of the soul does not record symptoms, but remembers causes. Memory, in this deeper sense, is not a neurological event, but a vibrational property of the field of consciousness. Every consciousness carries within its frequency spectrum the imprint of its journey. Anamnesis is the moment when that imprint becomes readable. The past is not behind us, but beneath us, forming the foundation of the present field. When the mind becomes coherent, the field transmits information back to it. The act of remembering is thus not recollection, but resonance. To remember is to realign one's frequency with the origin. Plato said that to know is to remember. One might add that to remember is to reconnect. True knowing is not horizontal accumulation, but vertical resonance. The retrieval not of events, but of states of being. When consciousness loses alignment, it forgets. Forgetting is not the loss of data, but the loss of phase. And memory does not return through effort, but through coherence. Anamnesis is therefore a phase function, the moment when awareness realigns with its original field. Awakening is not about gathering knowledge, but about simplifying, removing the noise that prevents resonance. Moments of deep anamnesis occur in flashes of intuition, déjà vu, or visionary insight, when the brain, in gamma-theta coherence, synchronizes with non-local memory. Science calls it insight, but it is truly a reconnection between the semantic field and its source. Knowledge does not enter from outside, it re-emerges from within. Yet man fears this remembering, because to remember deeply means to see that what he calls self is only the shadow of a forgotten origin. Anamnesis dissolves identity. It does not confirm who we think we are, but reveals the pre-linguistic vibration that existed before names. To remember is to die to the character and be reborn to presence. True remembering happens not through thought, but through silence. Silence is not absence of sound, but absence of distortion. The pure condition in which the field can speak for itself. In the ancient mysteries, silence preceded revelation, because only in that stillness can the memory of being rise intact. Anamnesis is the inverse of entropy. While entropy disperses information, anamnesis gathers it. It is a function of recomposition, a force that restores coherence to the fragments of time. Remembering who you are does not add information, it restores order to the field, folding multiplicity back into unity. The true archive of memory is extracorporeal, a non-local domain where every vibration persists and can be accessed through phase resonance. The brain is merely the interface that perceives its effects. Every authentic moment of awakening, dream insight, or inexplicable certainty is the surfacing of this deeper memory. The field never forgets. It only awaits the proper frequency to be heard. Anamnesis cannot be forced, it can only be prepared. It arises when the mind ceases to demand and becomes still enough for the field to respond. Its language is silence, its product is presence. To remember then is not to go backward, but to return inward. It is to reconnect with what has always been known, the eternal code of being resonating again in awareness. This is the highest meaning of knowledge, not to learn, but to remember that we already know. Anamnesis is not a return to the past, but a return to essence. Nothing real can ever be forgotten. It can only be awaited until the mind becomes silent enough to hear its call.